Hi, everybody. This is Stacy Gianmarco from Red Oak Behavioral Health, coming at you with the second edition of our Growing Together video series. And this week, we're going to be talking about setting emotional boundaries. As we all know, our physical boundaries have been set forth for us through social distancing mandates.
Yeah.
But boy, oh boy, these emotional boundaries are so difficult, even under normal circumstances. And this week, I am so blessed to have Brittany Valentine, one of our rock star therapists from East High School, with us to help us navigate these emotional boundaries. Brittany, thank you so much for being with us today.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, we have to do this in this remote setting, but I'm so grateful to get the opportunity to talk with you. So, as I said, even under normal circumstances, it is really difficult for people to set emotional boundaries, to say no to people.
Right.
So, talk to me a little bit about how we can navigate and be successful in setting these boundaries, particularly with this current pandemic situation we've got going on.
Well, I'm definitely happy to be here, Stacy, and happy to talk about this topic. I think emotional boundaries as we navigate along. But I think the first thing first is feeling comfortable with saying no. Us as caregivers, parents, or just those in the helping profession, we're not used to saying no. We're used to saying yes and just always doing for others. And sometimes it feels even uncomfortable to put ourselves first or to even say the word no. So saying no isn't being mean. It's not rude or even so to do something else or not do something else, and that's absolutely okay. So I think my first tip, my trick, whatever you want to call it, is just it's okay to say no and being okay with your no.
Got it. Boy, that is a tough one. That is a tough one, but incredibly important to do. And if you can figure out how to do that, boy,
Yes, yes,
you got it made, right?
yes, absolutely.
So
Um,
I know this is going to be new for everybody. So how
mhm.
can we help to get going with this?
Well, I think it's very important to be adaptable, be open, and just be flexible. Don't put too much pressure on yourself and don't allow others to put too much pressure on you. Some of us are still fortunate to be working. Some of us are home in the middle of the day, all day for the first time in decades, if ever since like pre-K. So, this is new, no one has a blueprint of, this is what this time to this time or anything else like that. So just allowing yourself to be open and be flexible, and just to kind of take each day or week as they come, I think is going to be, really, really important. My wife, she's primarily used to working from home, but now our daughter's here and she has schoolwork. I'm working from home. So she went from having her domain to walk all throughout the house talking in meetings to now there's two additional people and we need our own workstations. And then we actually happen to live in our workstation. So how do you function with, hey, this is the living room / business meeting / whatever your home may need to be. So really trying to be flexible and adaptable, I think is definitely going to help. And
Yes.
like I said, not allowing people to put pressures on you. So my wife, she's in go mode. She's cleaned out our old rundown shed. Her and her dad have put a new roof on it, hung shingles. She's painted it. She's teaching herself how to play the flute. And I'm just sitting here. I, I'm overwhelmed. I cannot try to start a business or, learn a new hobby or come out of this with a new talent. I'm just trying to make it every day. So, I encourage her and I'm like, hey, you sound really good, but I don't plan on doing any of that. And so I don't pressure myself and I don't feel pressured when she comes up with yet another hobby that she wants to try.
It sounds like you guys have a wonderful yin and yang situation going on. And I find myself even at home with my three children and my spouse to there's constant negotiations happening, right? We've got to be able to pivot at any moment to make sure that whatever needs to be happening with that particular human being can actually happen with as little distraction as possible.
Yes.
So, do you recommend helping like to set a schedule as much as possible, or just kind of go with the flow?
So I think it depends on each individual, and it may even depend on, what the week may looks like. We
Sure.
have it not have her watch YouTube till 4 or 5 in the morning, reminding her to log on to Google Classrooms and meet with her teachers. That's a constant daily struggle. So
Sure.
and she's also taken some college classes, so also reminding her like, hey, you still need to keep up with that. So we try to be flexible and adaptable, but take our job. We're talking to our kids on the phone. Our kids aren't getting up at 9 and 10 in the morning. I start being successful with 12. So, I can try to set a schedule, but for me, that doesn't necessarily work. So I think just communication around everything is what's going to be best to see what's good for your family.
And I think that's so true. Even today, before we got on to have this call, I told my husband, you need to get the kids out of the house for a little while so that I can do this, which is,
Yes.
it's all about communication,
Yes.
communication, which I think is something that everyone has had the opportunity to really work on. Some days are more successful than others, but we all have the opportunity to work on that.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me about being mindful and being present during these times and how that can help us with setting emotional boundaries.
So I can give you a great example. So my wife and I just celebrated our 1 year wedding anniversary.
Oh,
Um,
cool.
it was great. We were supposed to be out of town for a week. And of course, none of that happened. And so we share the same space now all day, every day, quarantine. But, we're not necessarily so we made sure that even though we couldn't go out for our anniversary, we unplugged, no phones, no email, no FaceTime, none of that. We remembered, hey, what'd you do as in your childhood, back before technology completely took over our lives. We talked, we listened to our favorite artists, but we took time to truly spend time together instead of just sitting together. It used to be a feat to, knock out a new series on Netflix or something, but I've made it through Tiger King. I'm almost done with This Is Us. Now it's not, unfortunately, as rewarding to finish series because that's kind of all you have to do. So really taking like for you and your family and being in that moment and limiting as many distractions as possible is kind of what being mindful about time is what that's about.
I just love that. I really do. And, I think we're all working really hard to accomplish some of those things every day. And boy, I'm just so grateful that you gave us these reminders and these tips and helping us to set these emotional boundaries. And these can lead us to being happier and more mentally well, right, during this time of our stay-at-home orders. So thank you, Brittany. I'm so, so thrilled that you were able to join us today.
Absolutely. Thank you
And
for
thank
having
you to everyone who listened in again this week. Please join us next week as we kind of shift our focus to being aware of all the stresses in your life. We've got a lot of them, particularly now. And so we're going to focus on how we can really work through those and not let them get the best of us. So if any of you listening are in need of any help, please call Red Oak. We are open. We are able to see you. Please call us at 330-996-4600. And again, we do offer our same-day access service, so you will be able to talk with someone within a 24-hour time period. So thank you again so much, Brittany. Thank you. Happy anniversary.
Thank
And
you.
everybody stay well out there. Talk to you
Bye.
next week. Bye bye.